set max thrust, gear up, flaps 8, speed mode. I mean, go around, set thrust, flaps 8, gear up, set max thrust, speed mode, go around. Go around, set thrust, flaps 8, max thrust, check spoilers, gear up, speed mode. I got it this time, I got it. Okay, ready? Go around, set thrust, flaps 8, gear up, speed mode, climb. Go around. I mean, set max thrust, check spoilers, flaps 8, gear up, speed mode, heading mode, nav mode, white needles. Here we go, I got it, okay. Got it this time. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tips with Tupper, and I got a good one for you guys today. But before I begin, I just want to say again that I'm not making this video in affiliation with any airline, and before you take any of these tips and put them to practice, please always refer to your individual airline's POH. Alright, so let's just get right into the gist of this video. This tip is a really big one. So the first two videos that I came out with had to do with situational awareness, and this video has to do with, you guessed it, call-outs. Alright, call-outs. So call-outs are really important, and you need to have them down by the time that you get into the simulator. As you could see, I was kind of being a little funny at the beginning of the video, but this is what I hear in the simulator all the time. People messing up callouts. And I just want to make an example out of two of the really big ones that I see people confuse and mess up. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to remember which one to use at the right time. Okay, so first of all, why are callouts important? We're going to talk about why they're important and some tips on how you can apply them and remember the right ones to use. Okay, so first of all, let's think about this. Why are they important? Alright, have you ever seen that, like that little game that you used to play when you were a kid, and it was like, put one hand on top of your head, one hand on your belly, and try to rub both of them at the same time? It's really hard to do, right? Unless you're super coordinated. So it's a lot easier to rub your head and not have to think about rubbing your belly, or rubbing your belly and not have to think about rubbing your head at the same time. And that kind of goes hand in hand with call-outs and flying the airplane. If you have those call-outs down and you don't have to think about them, then you get to fly the airplane. But if you are thinking about those call-outs and trying to fly the airplane at the same time, one of them is going to suffer. So with that being said, you need to have the call-outs down. And just as an example, we are going to talk about the two call-outs that I see people mess up more than ever, and that is balked landings and go-arounds and when to use them. So pay attention. Here we go. We're going to talk about those. So remember, I'm talking about a certain airline call-out. So your call-out may be different for your go-around call-out or your balked landing, but for sure that your airline is going to have both. So we need to understand and be ready on when to use those call-outs. Okay. So in your check ride, your 121 check ride for your maneuvers validation, or MV, you're going to be expected to do a balked landing and a go around. Okay? So what's going to happen on the balked landing is you're going to come down and you're going to be less than 50 feet, and the examiner in the back is going to say, hey, go around. Okay? And so what I see people do all the time is they rush these call-outs. Alright, so I want you to remember something when you get to this part of your training. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Alright, remember, you're not in a helicopter anymore, okay? Dropping the collective as fast as you can not to lose your rotor RPM is not as important as it used to be. Alright, you're not going to fall out of the sky. So, with that being said, when you're told to go around, you have to remember your call-outs. And you have to be slow and smooth is fast. For example, When you're told to go around, okay, and you're less than 50 feet in the low speed regime, it is a balked landing. So first of all, tower is not going to say execute a balked landing. You have to know that this is the time I'm less than 50 feet, I need to execute a balked landing. So the call out for that is set max thrust, check spoilers. We're not making any configuration change until the airplane is in a positive rate. Once it gets into a positive rate, it is flaps 8, gear up, speed mode, okay? Once we get above 400 feet, it's either going to be nav mode or heading mode, okay? 1,000 feet, we start accelerating, 200 knots. VT minus 10, flaps up, after takeoff checklist. All right, the difference in the balked landing to the go around call out is when we make a go around, it's simply go around, set thrust, flaps 8. We're waiting for a positive rate call, gear up, speed mode, and everything else is the same. 400 feet, heading mode or nav mode. 1,000 feet, 200 knots, we accelerate. All right, VT minus 10, flaps up after takeoff checklist. All right, so how do you remember? This is what I have so much trouble with my students on getting them to remember the difference in when do I make that go around call out, go around, set thrust, flaps 8, or when do I make the balked landing call out, set max thrust, check spoilers, waiting for a positive rate. Once we get positive rate, flaps 8, gear up, speed mode, okay? The difference in those two. Okay, so in your check ride, like I said at the beginning, the examiner, he's going to say go around. Tower is telling you to go around, all right? Don't get that go around as the go around callouts. He's telling you that you need to go missed, all right? So you need to know the requirements for a balked landing. And what I tell my students, okay, you need to develop a trigger in your mind. In the airline industry, there's all these things, these triggers that get you to do something. You have flows. The captain says something, you do something. So let's just continue with that, all right? You're going to hear the airplane say 100. When you hear that, that should be your trigger to, I'm no longer thinking go around, I'm thinking balked landing. And I say that because in our book, it says the requirements for a balked landing is the airplane is less than 50 feet. So I'm using the airplane's 100 to switch my mind over from go around, set thrust, flaps 8 to balked landing. Set max thrust, check spoilers. Waiting, no configuration change until we get a positive rate. So when I hear the airplane say 100, that's my trigger in my mind. I switch over to balked landing. And I say that because it's a good trigger. The book says 50 feet, okay, anything less than 50 feet. But if tower or a gust of wind tells me that I have to execute a go around or a missed approach less than that, I'm probably going to dip below 50 feet. So it's just a good tool for you to use, that 100, the airplane saying 100, for you to switch your mind, okay? The next thing, all right, so you've done your balked landing in your check ride. Next thing that you're going to have to do is a go around, and usually that comes with a single engine go around, so it does become a little bit more complicated, and I will talk about some techniques, some tips and techniques for overcoming those single engine problems. But for sure, you're going to fly a non-precision approach, okay? A non-precision approach, and you're not going to break out. So you need to be ready with those go-around callouts. I tell people all the time, it's like you're going to fly your non-precision approach. You're going to come down to your minimums, and for sure, you're not going to break out, so you're going to go around. All right? So one of the keys, again, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You're not going to follow the sky. Every time I see someone try to rush the callouts, okay, they mess them up, and then they're thinking about the callouts, and then they're not flying the airplane. So again, first thing that you need to do, have the callouts down, okay? Say the callouts slowly, all right? Have them down, say them slowly. It's going to help you fly the airplane, all right? So that's my tip. Callouts. Have them down before you get to the sim. Say them slowly. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Go around, set thrust, flaps 8. Positive rate, gear up, speed mode, nav mode, 200 knots, flaps up after takeoff checklist. That easy. Balked landing. You don't need to get into a rush. set max thrust, check spoilers. Positive rate, flaps 8, gear up, speed mode, nav mode, 200 knots, flaps up after takeoff checklist. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take that with you to the sim and you will do great. All right, stay tuned for the next video, Tips with Tupper. Put some comments down below on what you want to hear me talk about next. Please, please, it'll help me out a lot. Press that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more tips with Tupper. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Set thrust, go around, gear up. Set max thrust, flaps 8, gear up, speed mode. Go around, set thrust, gear up, flaps 8. Flaps 8, gear up. Flaps 8, gear up, speed mode. Set max thrust, check spoilers, flaps 8, gear up, speed mode.